Alright everybody, Sergeant 1911 here, and we're outside the hideout. We're going to do a little bang 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 in a minute. Before we get started, I got some necessaries. It is necessary, or I would really appreciate it if you click subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I can't tell you how much. Click the little ringy dingy so you'll get a notification, and click that you like it when you do. Please make comments. Those of you who have made comments, know I'll try to answer absolutely every one of them. I really appreciate it. Another thing is really important, if you go over to sergeant1911.com, sgt1911.com, check out our stuff. I hope you'll like it. And as those of you have been following, remember a portion of everything we send over to St. Jude's Research Hospital. And since the web page has been up, that's exactly what we've done. We've sent a little check over there to help those kids out. So give it a look and just think about it when you get the opportunity. So wrap that up and let's talk about what we're doing today. All right. In the last couple of days, I've had an opportunity to visit with a good friend of mine that I spent time in the service with, a little Irishman, and that's a whole nother subject. But you guys also know I don't have a Glock. Well, my Irish buddy has a Glock, and lo and behold, if he didn't drive off and leave it at my house. Damn. So I'm not going to get into why he wasn't capable of remembering those things, but he just couldn't remember. Anyway, I've got a Glock. Now this Glock, like I said, it's not mine, it's his. And you guys know I don't know much about Glocks, but I'm going to shoot it before he figures out that it's gone. This is a G21. And I had to Google everything to figure out what I'm looking at. So this is a G21 SF. And SF means short frame. Now, I also figured out by looking at Google that this probably is one of the generations that's not the newest because of that SF. Now let's go through the box and see what I find in there. One thing I noticed already is the thing seems upside down to me. The sticker's upside down. I don't like it. Oh, lo and behold, with the bicycle lock, toothbrush, and 1, 2, and there's 3 magazines. And I believe this is it says it comes with 2 10-round magazines, but there's a third one in there that holds a few more than that, and I can imagine how that ended up there. But anyway, here's our toy for today. It is a Glock 21 SF short frame. Now, I didn't know. A lot of you guys are going to know, so you're going to, fact check me. Go ahead and just help me learn. No trolling, but fact check me. Short frame. Short frame has to do with the size of the pistol grip. I guess it's a little shorter. Now, one thing I have noticed about the Glocks, and this is really on one of the first few that I'm actually going to fire, is the finger notches down here on the front side of the thing. Right here, how it's the ergonomics on it. Well, because this is short frame, I think these are bunched up a little bit together, and it makes it for a shorter, smaller hand person. So these little finger mode holes are kind of bunched in together, so if you got fat fingers, this thing ain't gonna fit very well. You know what I mean? Like slipping into a pair of jeans you wore 15 years ago. So anyway, this is a short frame, 45. And some of you who may not know, let's take a look at the sights. Got the big white horseshoe on them. And I think I have figured out in my mind what it is about the Glocks that just don't do it for me. And I think there's 3 things. Number one, they're just square. I mean, this thing is safe, so I'm going, I'll turn it this way. Look, if you're looking down that side, look how square it is. It's not rounded off. It's like a big old fat bottom girl is what that is. She don't have that sexy rounded figure 8. She don't have that, you know what I'm talking about. She's not proportioned correctly. It's polymer. Look at this big magazine hole, and look how thin that plastic is. Now that's no different than any other ones that I'm finding out. Here's where I found out where the differences are. And I think Glock has tried to correct some of this. The serrations are only on the back. There's not any on the front. The texture is just not, it's not aggressive. It's there, but it's not aggressive. This thing, and we have the, what is this, the 21 SF, short frame. But a lot of other handguns have come out where you're changing the sides and the back. Well, guess what? Now when I go and Google a Glock 21, I don't find an SF, I find the Gen 4s and Gen 5s, and they do have where you can adjust these things. So if I don't know if that's just what was happening at this generation of pistol, and now we've started to change into the next generations and they've started to use that. But it is what it is, and there might not be another model 72 SF, because now we're getting into the possibility and where we can always change this. This could be the last of this model type, and what I mean by this model is the way they're configuring the pistol grip. So now we're getting all adjustable and all modular, and we don't necessarily have short frame, we just have 21, and if you want it short, you just start changing the parts out and build it and customize it to yourself. Now, the trigger, which they're calling the safety system or something, you know, I got to reading a little bit about that, and I probably should have done this years ago. You know, I almost call them, and I don't want to be offensive, idiot-proof triggers. They call them their safety system, where, you know, there is no safety, but that trigger pull is long, 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 and they measure the distance from here to the front of the trigger like 2.8 inches or something like that. That's not the way Sarge 1911 measures trigger. I measure trigger on how easy or difficult it is to operate. This thing, you know, is going to be out there at 6 pounds or something every pull of the trigger, and that's part of their safety thing. It's not like a double action with a long pull, and then you got a single action that's got a light pull, or just a single action where you got to cock it and then it's a light one every time. Every time it's going to be consistently where you've got the long, hard trigger pull every time. So, you know, I'm going to call it, instead of a double action, I'm almost going to call it a dummy down trigger, because, you know, it's made and designed specifically for police, military police. You know, it's because it's made that way for when you're in a high stressful situation. I don't have that trigger that's set too light, and, you know, my buddy bumps me and the damn thing goes off. Or I'm under a lot of stressful situation, and I have an accidental fire. And, you know, guns don't accidentally discharge, you know, that's another video. But what I'm saying is, and I'm sure you guys know, we got that long trigger pull that's 6 pounds of trigger every time, and you got to, you know, you got to want it. And but anyway, got the little hole there if you want to put your string on there and tie it to your belt loop and look all cute and everything. It does have a rail on it with 1 notch, so you don't have a lot of leadway as what you're going to put on there. But, you know, this is not a Gucci Glock. I'm going to have to get on my boy, the Irishman. He lives up north, and he's close enough to New York City. He can go down there and get some Gucci parts, put him a different slide on it, maybe get him a sexy looking barrel and all this stuff. I don't know. Dress it up, make it look all sweet, see what he says. But anyway, before he gets back, I want to run some of my cheap ass ammo with it and see if it'll work. So let me go ahead and shoot a magazine full. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna hit anything, but I'm gonna make it go bang. And since he's a, you know, good old army buddy, you know, we have, you get army buddies and your buddies until death do you parts. Even, you know, it's even better than some marriages, I think. I'm not gonna clean that something either. I'm gonna let him do it. Here we go. All right. I don't know if I'm man enough to pull this trigger back. There we go. It ran. It ran. This thing, when I'm shooting it, I'm naturally pointing it a little bit high. Now, I think that's just the ergonomics of the handgun, the way that angle of that pistol grip sets, the bore, the axis coming along here. If I'm a straight line with a, and then coming down, I think it's the tilt of this. It's just not sets right. So this thing shoots a little bit cockeyed up when I'm trying it. It's not a natural point, it's more of a point. And you know, that's something I'm gonna have to think about. And if I was gonna carry Glock daily, I'd have to really pay attention to that. Let's see if Glock's back. There we go. Let's try again. I'm shooting it high. I'm not near as accurate as this as I am with some others. I'll tell you what I am going to mention real quick. You know, these things have a reputation for being extremely reliable. Here we go again with my redneck reading capabilities. They're almost, well, I'll tell you what, when I read it in there, it said that it's given the dimensions of the handgun, and then there's a little like an asterisk down below in red print. It says that these measurements potentially aren't exactly right, that there is some tolerances in these things. Now, those of you who are familiar with weapons and know that the AKs have that history of just pouring sand and gravel and mud and everything, know they're almost unstoppable. And that's why they have them big tolerances in there. So if you get mud down in there, there's plenty of tolerances and it moves and the mud can just fall out and the thing still operate. That's the way I'm reading this with the Glock. It's almost like they took the knowledge that they've had over the decades of the AKs and went, ooh, there's tolerances in there. It's not going to be as slick and pretty. It's going to be gritty and grindy, but there's tolerances. So it can have a little bit of problem and still move around and still function. You know, and that's all good. Just so long as the controlled ignition of the powder in the chamber is all controlled and there's no tolerances there, the rest of it doesn't matter. You can find in anything that's any dangerous to one thing is sending it downrange. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this other one. I'm gonna shoot this one a little bit faster. Just because it's not mine, I'm gonna abuse it a little bit. It's empty. All right. Now, if I'm got any luck at all, I'll post this video before he even knows his weapon's gone. And then he's going to have to come all the way getting it because I'm not taking it to his ass. Anyway, I'm glad I had the opportunity for him to come visit. He's going to have to come back. I'll welcome him in open arms here at the hideout. You know, Glocks, still not my favorite thing, but I understand them. I understand why they are what they are. Booyah, right? Anyway, until we shoot again, make sure and always, like I say, shoot safe, shoot straight. Hooah.